Welcome, everybody. Tonight we are going to celebrate a grand work of Gita Ben David's Vocal Sound Healing, the ultimate book of vocal sound healing. And it's an astonishing work that first time I ever heard about Gita was in the Royal Conservatory of Music in Copenhagen. I had been doing some teachings out there, and there was a note on the wall that there was this course coming up that Gita was on that was called The Note from Heaven. And I was immediately interested because the note from heaven, what was that all about? And the rest is history, as they say. But I guess that most of you who are watching this know about Gita's work already. But nevertheless, I would like to hear a little bit about what is the note from heaven and how did Gita discover it, because it is something that she has been working on for 30, 35 years?
36.
36, just to be sure.
Every year it's 1 year added.
So don't miss that, 36 years. And before we go, I would just also want to read a little bit of a quote from Michael Mann, a publisher that I really, really respect highly. And he writes about the book. Gita is, as far as I know, the most advanced and most brilliant vocal sound healer in the world. The depth of her knowledge is extraordinary. I can attest that her sound healing really does work as she has practiced it on me with immediate and astonishing results. Michael Mann, former founder and chairman of Element Books. And so it goes that those who have experienced the note from heaven on themselves, they all talk about the immediate healings and astonishing how it works and so forth. So therefore, Gita, first and foremost, happy birthday.
No, I don't have a birthday
No,
today.
you had 2 days ago.
Yes, thank you.
And congratulations with your grand work.
It's really been many years to do this, yes.
It's a long way it have come now. But now it's here.
Yeah. And I thank you for pushing me, because it was Lars's idea. Also, the title was Lars's idea, and they really liked that in the books.
How could they not like a title like the ultimate book
it's not
on
so
vocal
humble.
sound
It's not
healing?
so humble, but it's 3 books in one, so that's why we sing it.
No, to me, why I suggested this is that it is the ultimate book on vocal sound healing. I haven't heard about anyone who have worked for so long and so intense as Gita. I know a lot of people who have just started within the past 10 years or 5 years or 3 years. So it's the experience behind it, the work. Therefore, I would like to hear you once again tell about how you discovered this, because I think a lot of newcomers would be interested to hear.
I mean, it's an ongoing journey, this, and I didn't know what I was going into, but I was going to India to study Indian singing, just to have a break from the academy or the conservatorium in Copenhagen, the Royal Conservatorium, where I studied classical saxophone. And I had money because I had a high degree in this examination I did midway, and went to India for no reason. Actually, it was a girlfriend going there, and so I thought I could go with her, and then I would study some kind of music there. Singing would be the easiest, and then she didn't go in the end, and I had to go there because I got a lot of money to go. So I'm ending up with Mangala Tiwari in Varanasi, and I'm sitting and I have to take singing lessons, and I was not really serious about it. But then when I heard her voice, it was shivering down my neck.
But what brought you to her in the first place? Since you said you did not take her serious.
Maybe because I had to do some kind of studying because I got money for it. So it was Rasbam Singh, a sitar player, that said, you can go down there at the end of the road. There's a singing teacher. You can take her, and I took her. And she was really the right one for me, it seems like. And it opened a new world. And what happened was that she told me to sing one note I mean, she put me down because I was used to play very fast and duck, 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 and up in tempo and all this. So she said just that you sing one note every day.
Yeah.
And
just one note.
Yeah, and you do it for at least 1 hour.
Did she say what note?
Yeah, the ground note, your ground note.
So that was up to you?
No, I asked her, what is my ground note? Yeah, it's the same as mine. She said.
How could you know that?
She just said
she just knew.
They do what they want. I mean, she was not so spiritual thinking about it. But what happened to me was that then when I did it, because I had a very airy voice, she told me I have to do it because she had to see if I'm God-gifted.
Okay.
And God-gifted, I said, okay, that's not something we usually do in Copenhagen that we talk about, because if my voice would be God-gifted. And then I started to sit and sing. I should also play the tempo kind of hard for me in the beginning, down, 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 down. And and it was boring. And then all of a sudden, it started to be more voices at once. And I didn't know about the overtones at that time. It was just before David Hikes got through with all this, with the overtones. And so I didn't know about it. And then it seems like it was like getting very full of overtones. And that's one of the really main things about the note from heaven. The manifestation is that you don't have to sit and do strange positions with your mouth and like they do in the tip. You can teach this. No, it's just coming by itself when you surrender. And when I was bored enough, I started to surrender. And then I got the point of what is meditation, because it was like I got into a state with this note that just was full of overtones, like it was all around me. And I thought it was somebody else singing in the beginning, but it seemed like nobody was there. So this state has followed me since then. And I didn't understand at all what it was, but it's been a journey that never stopped.
So from there, how did it evolve with the note from heaven there?
It evolved to that I start to have, like, my awareness start to grow. I think, anyway, you can never know what is.
No, but you must have had some kind of experience where you felt,
but this is it was that I surrendered into the moment in a way, and I experienced a kind of bliss, and I could just continue doing it for hours. And what is happening when you've done this for extended time, then you can just enter the note from heaven quite fast. It's like you weeding out all the resistance, and then you know how to find it. And this you can use also when you, for example, do sound healing. Because then you know how to enter what I would call the oneness field. And then we are coming, I jump over a lot because I've been also through traumas, singing yourself free of traumas. You can do, this is a middle book.
Then you came back from India. And you had this gift. Did you know that it was something you were going to work with?
No, I didn't know.
What was the next step there? Because
it is that I start to have, when I lay down, I start to have images going on. Like when I was a kid, I also used to have that. And then like a film, and I thought it's normal, because I think it's quite normal. You can see before sleeping some kind of films, like half dreaming. And I start to have it, just I lay down and relax. I start to get images. And then I found out that it was actually emotionally touched by this. And then I thought, okay, maybe that's what they call regression. So I took an education as a regression therapist to cope with it, because I started
afterwards when you came home.
In Denmark, because I thought that if I started teaching this to people, how to sing the note from heaven, because I didn't want anything else than the note from heaven. It was, I lost the interest in the saxophone. I lost the interest in standing on the stage.
Did you stop you stopped your
No,
education?
but I took the examination 1 year too early, because I was quite good in it, so I could manage.
All right.
I mean, good in it. I didn't get the highest degree then, but I could manage.
Okay. Just to get out. Okay.
So I mean, to have time to sit and sing one note, and I couldn't really use it for anything, I thought. So I actually tried to get rid of it.
So what was the great breakthrough when you discovered that you could actually you could work with it?
It was that I was starting. It was a long time. I went to Israel. I was married. I got a child. I worked with it all the time.
You also had something with a healing education there.
Yeah.
Isn't that true?
Yeah. I was all the time having resistance on the spiritual part because I'm brought up in a very atheistic family, and also I would break up with all my, family, everything. I would break up. Even I maybe was a black sheep, but I would be even more a black sheep then. So I think I had a little bit of resistance on it, but things started to happen. Many things that couldn't be a coincidence.
Yeah.
So the faith from surrendering to the note from heaven, you start to get faith and you start to be able to surrender to the higher powers. And this is the main thing, to have faith. I mean, you could call it in God, but I call it also higher powers because I believe I get help from above.
Yeah, of course.
And when you sing the note from heaven and when you surrender on R like this, and you just sing, the feeling of the note from heaven is that you're fed from above. It's like it's effortlessly, and you get really a big power.
Yeah.
And I love to see people when they get this experience, and they never had that before. Yeah. So this. And now I like to jump because I like the new stuff, and maybe it's not what is in the book.
Fine, we'll come to that.
Okay.
Take it easy now.
Okay.
Relax. I would like to know when you had your first experience with another person where you were doing the healing, that you found out that your voice actually had that ability to read something.
The first thing was that I had I was teaching in some school, and I also was starting to teaching singing and the meditation with the voice, like with the note from heaven. And then there were two of the students were having a cold and they couldn't sing. Yeah. And we knew that it was a man walking around. At that time, it was really in Denmark, you were not allowed to teach healing. No. It was really, they are after people in that school. Yeah, if I would do that, I would be out. Yeah. So he was around there, we knew that, but then they said, couldn't you heal us? Because they knew I had a healing education from Israel. So said, no, but I will be thrown out if I do that, that. So do it with a voice, you can heal us with a voice. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was kind of silly, but okay. And I did like we usually do, we ask for love and light, and usually we put your hands on if you do it quietly. Mm-hmm. But then I was starting to ooh, and then I then I all of a sudden went into kind of something I didn't know, but I just did it. And I was just sliding up, and then I found the resonance. So scanning. I don't call it so much healing, I call it scanning, because I'm looking for where the body will open for the sound. Mm-hmm. So ooh, for example, on you. Yeah. Well, can I do it? Yeah. Ooh. It's opening. Yeah. It's getting extra overtones. And that's the note from heaven then. It shows itself. Okay. And I just listen for that quality of overtones. Yeah. And then I would start to see, okay, if I move my head while I do it, it's fading. Mm-hmm. And when I move it up, it will come again. So this place needs it. And then the people say, oh, I can feel it when you come here. Yeah. And then I knew, oh, it's a physical thing, this. Something with vibration. Yeah. But then I was starting playing with it because I thought it was interesting. Yeah. So just like a church could have very good resonance, a body can have it too. Yeah. And then I was in this regression therapy education, and there were some people, one was clairvoyant and this, and I was nothing. I was a musician, and playing a little bit with the sound. I could say that. And nobody knew really about the note from heaven. So was one woman with a very bad headache, so I said, oh, maybe I could try to sing on your head in the break. She wanted to go home, very far away from home. And I really had to, I felt ashamed about asking because it's kind of strange for people that you sing on them. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
To many people.
Yes, it is. So I was singing on her head, and I found the resonance, and it started, ooh, but it didn't take her headache. And she said, oh, no, very fast, 5, 7, it doesn't work. And I felt maybe I crossed her limit by doing it, and I really felt, I should never ask like this. She went home with this migraine, and then the next day she came to me to say, do you know what? My deaf ear, I can hear now. And I had felt really bad about what I did. And then that's many times like that. Things happening, you know that?
Things that you did not aim for are actually happening. Yeah.
So from this experience, I knew that this has nothing to do with me. It was not me doing this. The sound did the work.
Yeah.
And for me, when I get the note from heaven, it's like some other power is going through me. It starts to lead me, and I'm following that. All I have to do is to listen. It's just the listening.
I've followed your work in many years, so I know bits and pieces by now. But one thing that has struck me was this thing of giving yourself up. In a way that I know that when you're doing it, when I've seen some of the results that have been astonishing, that you don't know really what's happening. You're following the sound, you're following the energy, and you just ask for help. You give you could say, the ego up.
I am not allowed to demand anything.
That you don't interfere.
No, we're not allowed to interfere with our will. Our focus, yes, but not.
But also something where I've discovered that there could be another person standing just there to watch, and suddenly something happens to him or her that they did not ask for anything, and you were not even aware of that, and they came and said, "It's amazing. It's happened to me. This or that." You know, I've seen that many times also. Experienced it many times. So that this is another thing maybe also to stress about how it's not only to sing the note from heaven, it's also the state of being you go into before you start doing that is very important, that you understand how you can, what would you call that?
I would
clarify yourself.
Our grail symbol when we had the mystery school, Lars, it was like, now this is a star, but actually we make it like a heart that we can go around like this. And then we had like your symbol that was like with a flag, or you can call it a veil. And when you pull off that veil, then you're getting into a oneness symbol. And if you have the veil on, and it's like 2 parts. It's hard to see on that, but it's like with a 6
the star, 6-pointed star.
6-pointed star. So when you take off the veil, then you step into oneness. And when you are leaving oneness, you put back the veil. And that's very important when you do any kind of energy work, that you're aware of stepping into oneness, stepping back again. Because if you don't know how to step back and forth, you have no grounding. And then you can't do healing. That's why people could be scared of this work, because you would not be daring to get up there if into that state otherwise.
And I think that is a very important thing also for people who want to start out with this, because I know it from my own work also that whatever you do, this is a precept that you need to know about.
It's a grounding.
Be awareness.
Grounding is number 1. And grounding is in this focus on I'm going in, I'm going out. And this is the same thing if people are really sensitive. Some people are too sensitive to go out to do shopping, too many people, and they're pulling in energy. Yes, but if you would be strong enough and you believe in that you can do this, put this in duality is one thing. In the duality, everything is you're here, you're there. There is a division between things, black, white. So there you can protect yourself. But in oneness, we are all one, and you will feel all the other people because we are one. So that's why if you have this oversensitivity, and also when you do healing, you need to be aware now. I'm stepping into oneness, and I'm nothing, and I'm just there to share energy.
Yeah.
So, and it's so exciting. And that's also why, let's say now we had an example that just one with the cancer, that she was totally cured. And then people say, oh, they get scared of it because you should not tell anybody. And some people are afraid of it and all this. There are not two cases that are the same. No. We cannot tell anything that we know how to heal this or that. We can only surrender. And it's it is kind of a miracle that's happening.
So this is the principle. Before
but of course there is some basic parts of it, because people that have really deep faith would be more open to receive the sound.
Yeah, of course.
And then I've been thinking a lot about this, because we all have a nature that we want to control things and know how to do. So you cannot force yourself to be faithful. No. It's coming from deep inside.
Either you are faithful or you are not. You cannot be, you cannot fake that.
No,
that's impossible.
And you can't try to be.
No, that's why they say that, look at me, I'm very heavy. You can put on clothes, you can put on
a mask.
Yeah, but if you're faithful, it has nothing to do with all the.
No, you just stuff. Know. And this woman that just was healed, we just had it 2 days ago. The answer from the hospital, they couldn't find any cancer. It was big, huge tumor in the breast. It was in the lungs, very little in the lungs and in the spine.
It was all over, I understand.
And lymph, no, not all over,
no,
but it had spread.
Really,
it had spread, and I was amazed that they couldn't find it. Now they're going to scan her again. They think it's a mistake, but she feels really good, so I think it's true. Yeah. Anyway, when these kind of things are happening, as we said, it has something to do with faith, but if we should explain it scientifically. I like science because I think the note from heaven is bridging science and spirituality. And that's the biggest healing we can get if we can start to heaven and earth, to have the bridge. So if we have a cell, and that cell has cilia, small antennas on it.
Is that in the second book of Cell Singing?
Maybe also in the second book and the third book. There are 3 books.
Regressive Cell Singing.
Yeah, that could be that. Yeah. But I've also heard Bruce Lipton talking about this, and there are many
receptive.
There's so a lot of receptive cell antennas here, and what I've also read in other places is that these antennas can be pulled in, or they can be pulled out. So if we need to, let's say you were scared of going into a supermarket, like we talked about before, then you would pull it in, because then you won't get any so many signals, because you're scared. So you are protecting yourself. So if you would be scared when you get the treatment, of course you don't have any antennas to take in the signal.
Of course.
So faithfulness means open totally up.
Yeah.
And that's even the unconscious part of you that will do that.
Yeah.
So I've anyways been thinking about if you could make some kind of meditation, or when you sing the note from heaven for extended time before the healing, you will be more receptive.
I used to say, never give up, but always give it up.
Yeah, very good. Yeah.
Because if you are not real, if you're not genuinely meaning it, or you're just putting up a show or face or performance, then you are giving it up in a way. You give up.
Yeah.
That is not taking it serious.
But you mean giving up?
No. Then you I give up, because it's the same as throw it into the garbage can.
Yeah.
In the other thing, when you're genuinely, you're connecting immediately, you give it up, because you know that's the only way to go, to give it up. Yeah. And that's what I like with it.
Yeah.
So I know we need to talk about all the new things that you're working with, but just to make this straight, that this is a ground book.
Yeah, it's a basic book.
Basic book on all these topics.
Yeah,
that you have experienced can be topics that you'll meet on your path with the sound vocals.
Yeah, it's the 3 basic books. I mean, if you have the Note from Heaven, it's also in there.
Yeah.
But and also the regressive cell singing.
Yeah.
But the biggest part of the 3 books, that's the 3rd one that was never published before, and that has some new stuff. And there was a reason why it was not published.
What was that?
I believe I find it's the most important book of them.
Okay.
And the Note from Heaven, of course, they're all important, but that one is about sound healing and how to give it and how you can do it. Because my aim is not to get, let's say, clients and all this.
No.
My aim is to build this bridge for everybody to do sound healing or to teach others to do it.
Yeah.
That it can spread, because it's a very cheap way, and you can even heal yourself with this. And that's what I would like in the beginning. In the end, how they can heal themselves in these times. So the last book, the thing that some of the publishers were, at least in Denmark, they didn't want to publish it, so I published it myself in the end. It was that because we brought spirit into it.
Yeah.
And in Denmark, they're really on the ground.
You should go easy.
Very easy on that. I had made a group called Sound and Science because we wanted to attract scientists to test this, because it's kind of easy. I always had a dream to sing on cancer HeLa cells in a bowl and then we could see it in a microscope. It's so easy, would be so simple.
Yeah.
But I never succeeded in getting allowed to do this. Fabian Maman, he did it in 1987, and he showed that with all kind of acoustic instruments, the voice was the strongest. It took 8 minutes before it exploded the cancer cells, and no other instruments would do that. So I was always eagerly to do that, but nobody came to this group, and we collected money from some arrangement I made, and we had money to pay for that. And nobody came that wanted to do it. They don't dare, because they will. The scientists will be excluded if they do this kind of thing. Yeah. So we gave up, and then we thought, okay, what should we use the money for? Then we thought, okay, Graham Bishop, he's a
medium.
A medium, yeah. And I have been there once in my life with my son when he was small, because they told us all the bad things that would happen to him, and he helped me really.
Yeah.
And what he told me showed up to keep water. I can just say shortly, he said that I shouldn't be so sad, because my son had knee shells. They had told me he'll never walk because he has no knee shells. And he was born like that. And he said, the knee shells will come down. You see, anybody dare to tell you that? They will come down. Don't worry, he will be okay. And just ask the doctor where they're checking him in the Rigshospital. Then you will see in half a year, maybe you will find it. And exactly half a year after, I asked this guy, could you please check if he has knee shells? He said, but he doesn't have. He said, but somebody told me that he will get it. And then he did it, and then he found them. So they went down. So that made me believe, that's the same thing as my way of working with this. I need to know it's working. We're trying it out, and if it works, it's fine.
That's what I mean. What do you need the science for? Because this is another form of science. This is science. This is spiritual
but
science.
It is to manifest it here.
Listen, if you do a healing and it works, there you have your proof.
But so that's also what we're doing. But I like the scientific talks, thinking, because there are scientists that are thinking with an open mind.
But what I think, maybe, Gita, that you should not underestimate that science that you are working. Because this is also science. And it's even more important.
I write on my scientist.
You are a spiritual scientist.
So, no, but what is there are some really exciting scientists actually, because the one that are believing and are daring to think out of the normal way, they're really very have really great knowledge. And what happened is then that we went to this Graham Bishop again to ask if we could ask questions to this Dr. Carl coming through him, because they had told that they are a group of 700 scientists in that group. I know. So I thought that could be a way to get answers on this with the sound. So this group had a lot of questions, and then we also asked you to join because you were interested in Lars. So we were in a sitting with this Graham Bishop, and the questions and the answers we got is in this book.
Yeah. Okay.
And my angle to it was that we get a lot of knowledge here, and we don't know if it's correct or not. We shouldn't, if we should think like people think. So we tested, and it's really been working very well. What they said. Yeah. For example, they said the healing will last about 21 days when you give one. And after 21 days, you can, if you don't continue, then you have to begin from the beginning again. All right. If it didn't work the first time. For example, practical things. Yeah. So that I'm really happy it's getting out now.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah. But since this, a lot of other things have happened that you've been doing, that I know that you would like to talk about also. Yeah. And I would like to hear about it also.
Thank you, Lars. I'm so happy. The thing is, now I keep on Graham Bishop, because Graham is not a musician, and he's not like somebody I would connect really to, but he was a fantastic medium. Yeah. Because he doesn't know what he's doing. We have to tell him after what he's like asleep when he goes through.
He's not aware.
And there's sound healing through him. They were also doing it to my son then. And then I heard them doing this, and they said like a kind of a tractor or something very strange. And I thought,
that was Graham.
Yeah, he did that.
That sound was coming
and
from
he
him.
didn't know. He didn't know he was doing it, but he did all kinds of strange sound. And I thought, I tried to make it, and I thought it's painful. This like a very. I thought this I cannot teach anybody. But then I found about 5 years ago that the hung sound, the hung. If you say hung, then when you relax, then you will come an undertone like you have to close up here with that the air will come through the nose only. And then when you say I found that I could purify my pineal gland with it.
By directing the energy up there.
Yeah, and that was an experiment, because it was when I went into menopause. And I think I was kind of up and down a lot. And I was also a little bit depressive and things like this. And I wanted to handle it. So I thought, I'm going to try to balance my hormonal glands and see what will happen. And then I started I also the last years I'm really going into to study the anatomic part, because the more I know, the more exact I can be to focus on it.
Yeah, of course.
Also the meridians I've been studying now, because I figured out with the pineal gland that the sound is following the focus. And that's another big thing. The sound is following the focus, and there's no doubt about it for me.
Yeah, of course.
So if I just listen, again, it's the listening without any judgment or any interference. That's why it's so important to sing the note from practice it to surrender, because then you surrender into the sound and the listening. And then I tried all kinds of sounds, but the only one I could make vibrate inside the middle of my head was a pineal with this hung sound.
Yeah.
And the voice started itself to say, and then I started feeling, wow, I was like drifting away and You can get images like half dreaming, because the pineal gland is in charge of creating DMT. And that's also for dreams.
Yeah.
And the pineal it's shaped like a cone, and it shouldn't be this book. I wrote this book, Heal the Pineal, but it's also shaped like a spiral, and with the crystals inside, so it's so clearly a kind of an antenna, catching up signals.
Yeah.
And this is also the essence of the sound healing, because it's this capturing signals. And the pineal gland is in charge of the melatonin, the circadian rhythm, all our rhythm of the body, when we age, when we do what, when we will get mature, and all this.
Yeah.
So in this time, we are very poisoned.
Poisoned.
Yeah, we are poisoned from aluminum.
Yeah.
Especially aluminum, and also the fluoride.
Yeah.
The fluoride is attracting this. It's like a magnet. The pineal gland.
Fluoride is in water and many things.
There, for example, Ireland, they put it in the drinking water. They put also the fluoride in the drinking water in the concentration camps to numb people.
Yeah.
And that's because it's numbing the pineal gland, and that will be calcified, and that means you cannot get so much information and the light. The pineal gland will take in the light and transform the light to chemistry, and it will be hormones, and the hormones are making all the communication of the immune system.
Yeah.
So, if you would have an army that should fight the illness, you need communication. So if the pineal gland is not working, no communication in the body.
Infrastructure.
Yes, you're right. Exactly. And another thing that's Stephanie Seneff from Boston, is really one of my, she's a scientist, I mean, my guru in a way, because I really adore her. She has found out that together with other scientists, that the pineal gland is creating sulfate in the daytime. Not so many people know that.
Okay.
And that's from daylight, and that's why you need not to wear sunglasses all the time. You need some light in through your eyes, also from the daytime. Of course, you shouldn't burn yourself. No. But then you will have sulfate, and the sulfate is the soap of the body. It's a kind of soap.
Soap?
It's the purification agent.
Okay.
And now we're coming to Gerald Pollack, who is the author of The Fourth Phase of Water, professor from Washington.
Yeah.
And he's also one I really adore. And I'm into water also.
Of course.
He is he's the head of all kind of water science stuff, and he has said that the structured water, this is when that's making gel. That's the fourth phase of water.
Yeah.
And that structured water is in our cells. That's why they are jelly. So in normal science, they wouldn't call the body cells for water. But if you count that with it, the fourth phase of water, we are 99.9999% water.
Okay.
And what is happening with this water is that the water has memory.
Yeah.
And this also means that if there's some of the cells that have been attacked from toxins, that's what makes us sick. It's things that we don't need in the body. The body is healthy by itself. Always something that should not be there is what makes us sick.
Yeah.
So if there's something toxic that need to get out, now we're coming back to the sulfate. The sulfate will structure the cells. It means restructure them to come back to their original shape. And then they will push out the toxins.
Okay.
Because, for example, if you have heavy metals inside your body, if they enter the cells inside,
Yeah.
you have a chronic toxification.
Mm-hmm.
No doctors will think you're ill because the blood test will show nothing.
Okay. Yeah.
And there's a really big hole because the doctors are not educated in this.
Mm.
So you can have a lot of toxins, and you can even inherit it 4 generations back in your body, and have all kind of, letter ADHD and OCD and all this. So if you get sulfate into your body, then it's also dangerous, because if it would if it would structure the blood, it would have a blood clot. It shouldn't be jelly.
Yeah.
So the melatonin, which the pineal gland is making in the evening when it starts to get dark, is capturing the sulfate that is stored in the daytime, like a tank, protecting the blood from it, bringing it into the ventricles, which is the rivers in the brain, and in the third ventricle, throwing it out.
Yeah.
And here it's coming into the nerve system and purifying it all night. Even the brain will shrink. I've been studying this, so it will shrink to 60% in the night to give space for this process to happen. So we're purified every night when we sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And so imagine, the sulfates and all this restructuring that's happening is really, really important. Mm-hmm. So imagine if you have a pineal gland that can't create this, then you are you're getting full of toxins very fast.
So where does the sound come in here?
Is that we are going to clean it with sound.
You are doing that with Hong Song? Or?
Yeah, and since I did that, I've always been sleeping very, very lightly.
Yeah.
And I could sleep for even a snoring man and things like this. All of a sudden, I didn't wake up. And that it happened in just 15 minutes. I went through the pineal gland and all the other glands, like the hypothalamus, like a bird's head, and the opposite heart. This is pituitary, and all the ones down. And you can really get a nice experience in doing it. So, and another thing that is in it, that when you say the hong sound, even it doesn't sound really wonderful, beautiful in a classical sense, it is that you get a really long exhalation.
Yeah.
The same thing is happening in the note from heaven. When you sing, you can sing maybe 5 times as long as you would exhale normally. And then you are detoxing.
Okay. When you do it slowly or
long exhalation will activate the parasympathetic nerve system.
Okay.
And you will not be stressed. It will take the stress away.
Yeah.
So I'm very much into that. Sorry, I took.
No, that's very important. I think also because this is the new phase that you've been working. You're also with the Meridians.
Yes, you can activate the Meridians by yourself. You can simply balance yourself. And I think it's so important now that we have to take our health into our hands. And I want to give the tools to people to, if they're really dedicated and want to do it. Yes.
So what you do with the sound and the Meridians is to go into certain points, or
you see, if you know that the sound will follow the focus, you can do anything you want.
Course,
you see, and so it's just a matter of how much you're learning and where can you put the focus. So that's you can do a meridian. Say, now I had this doll, and now I just pull. This is the kidney.
Yeah.
It's going from down under the foot and all the way up. For example, if I would do that, I would just start under my foot. Imagine here the point, and then I know it. I've learned it, so I'll go up, and I've activated it.
Can you show on me if maybe scan me and see
on a meridian?
Yeah, see if you can find something.
Yes. Well, it depends which meridian. It's 12, so it can take a long time.
No, I'm just the client.
I'm going through every day. This last 2 years, I've been going through all my meridians.
I know nothing.
And I'm like depending a little bit on it now.
Right. Yeah.
My day is full of energy if I do that. So
I think I'll have a glass of wine.
Yes,
or water.
So I believe I would take your bladder meridian.
Yeah. Oh, where do you?
That's going like this, up here, over the head, and that's down along the spine all the way.
Yeah.
And it's all the other meridians are represented on the back here, down along the spine. And it's the biggest meridian of all of them.
Yeah.
I think I would do that first, but you can never know which one.
Will you then be able to say if there's any?
If it would start to say, I can show if the sound will start to say, and that's a trauma sound, what I call it.
Will you try it?
Yeah, I could do that.
But
you don't have to. I can just. What we learned also in the Corona time, it's getting more and more far out for some people, is that we found out we can do this in the internet.
All right.
We can do it online. So
Should I go to my computer?
You can go wherever you want. So I will just that you agree about it. I won't do it to anybody that don't agree. You can't do it.
I just asked you.
Yeah, because you need a sender and a receiver to do this.
I'm the receiver.
I ask for love and light.
Yeah.
I take both of them at once to do it fast, and then if it will jump, I will try each side.
So what are you doing?
That was a problem. You see, now I don't want to do it. Neck. So it's probably mostly in the neck. I just went to here now.
Okay.
But I think it's the neck, but we can
Where did you start?
Here.
Okay.
And I went over the head, and then here it's together in the neck, and
then it starts to sound funny.
It's actually here. It's going down like this.
And then you started to sound funny there.
You can see it here. The red one is actually the bladder meridian.
Gita, what happened when this sound?
When it starts, it's like a car that won't drive anymore. Then it means we should stop here and look at it.
Okay.
Actually, usually. So, sorry, now we're in the middle of a healing, but I will just explain.
Yeah, you need to.
The news thing is that I use the Hong song because the Hong song is like a pencil that will be very precise. Mm. And I've been thinking about what is it? Is it okay? I just will explain that before we go on. Don't forget your neck. So I thought that the Hong is like, if you see this here, a circle with a center. So if we sing the then there is a sound. That's a physical thing. That's sound that is just, and then there's a center of the sound. That's the NG. You see, if I just think about the NG, even then it will be centered. Mm-hmm. So in the center, then what would happen there is, now I come to Victor Schauberger. Mm-hmm. Because he said that there is the centrifugal and centripetal movement.
Exactly.
And the centripetal will always move in, and when you move in, the speed of the energy will be faster and more concentrated. You see, it will move in. Exactly. If you be centrifugal, it will be big and it will be thrown out to the side. Like the cross, the centrifugal will throw out and the centripetal will. Yeah. It's like the black holes. You know, you could imagine centripetal. Energy is going very strong in the centripetal. So I think the Hong song is a centripetal power in its nature. Okay. That it's going straight to sing, and it's saying, here's some problem. Yeah. And then both powers are effectful. Mm-hmm. So now we found a place. Yeah. So now we need the centrifugal maybe to spread it a little bit, because the Hong song will say, here it is, and maybe it can loosen it. Yeah. But we have to spread it that it can be detoxed. Yeah.
So what do we do?
So now I will just find it again with the Hong song, and then I will put a real sound. Okay. And then the different vowels, again, I believe they will make different cymatics. It means like the gel before that we talked about, that it was restructured. Yeah. The also the vowels have different structures that it can pass on to the cells. So I'm looking which kind of vowel you want.
Yeah.
First we find it. It was in the neck vowel. I think it was. I did look. It's Lars we're doing it on. I swallow one night for Lars. Here. Let's say if it's in the right side, both sides. Okay. It doesn't. It's really a heavy one. That one. I'm going to see it with this. To take it with a sound now. Could you feel it?
Yes, very much.
Did you like the E or the U? You liked it?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I try after again. Ask for a light. Now it's less. It's a little bit longer down now. I'd move down between the shoulder blades.
Can you say something what it is connected to when it's in the neck?
The neck is connected to all the main meridian that's going down in the. I think it's the Ren. I think it's there are two of them. The concept meridian, the Ren and Du. That's the ones that are going straight through the spine. Okay. It's not including in the 12, but that's the Kundalini ones. So it could be something in the neck sitting there. So it could be, but it's also connected to a lot of other meridians that's going through that point.
Okay.
It's a connecting point. There is a connecting point here in the middle. You can't see it here, but there is one here. So I think also these two are connected to that.
Okay.
So I will just see, but I'm not a Chinese doctor. They will know much better.
Yeah.
So now it already moved. I feel much better, Lars.
I feel 30 years younger.
But in this way, you can go through a full meridian and see if there's anything that is wrong. We can also do it to myself and also, oh my God, the spleen seems like it's a little bit shaky today. So I go through it a few times.
All right. So you can do this to yourself.
Yeah.
Work with this to yourself.
So that's why I made this Meridians webinars that I edited. And I'm also going to write a little bit small book with the points, even just for the most important ones for doing it. Yeah. So,
Is there any more new stuff you want to? Because
yes, the new stuff. If anybody out there know about it, sorry, I don't even know what time it is. We have not so much time left, but the new stuff is also that when I was in Spain and we did this, I think I can mention her name because she said I could share it. Colleen's that came from Ireland with this cancer, young woman or pretty young in 30s, I think, mother of 4 kids. She came and totally faithfully that she wanted us to treat her now. She just had the diagnosis. And then we were lucky that it was a medical doctor and we had a ultrasound scanner, handheld one. And we were scanning her at the same time. So my question to you out there, I don't know really if the sound scanner could have effect also, because that's ultrasound. It's ultrasound.
You use ultrasound on different muscle things and stuff now.
But that maybe the ultrasound scanner together with our voices is the reason, because it was astonishing that it was just one healing, and we did one the day after, I think. But otherwise, not. She felt so well, so we didn't do anything more, and she's just cured. Everything is gone.
You know, that's one thing that I have always wondered, that how come that it was not acceptable, or why was it so hard to accept that the sound of the voice could do something, but you could use any mechanical sound?
Yeah, because you're not scared of the
No.
Yeah, but there was Royal Raymond Rife. He made an electronic machine that could take cancer, and 16 terminal cancer patients were all cured and no remission, and it was checked in a hospital. But then they start to.
I want to read something from your book.
He had to escape. Yeah.
And it's from Hazrat Inayat Khan,
Yes.
the old Sufi masters that I know also meant a lot to you.
Yeah.
And you have written a quote from him. The voice has all the magnetism that musical instruments lack. For voice is nature's ideal instrument upon which all other instruments of the world are modeled. So also the machines are modeled after the voice, like taking medicine from nature and trying to make something.
So why to take it fake?
Yeah. Why not use the real stuff, the genuine?
Yes, there is we asked Dr. Karl in the third book about this, and the group of scientists there.
Yeah.
And they said that in some illnesses, it would be serving the illness better to use electronic sound. Some illnesses would be better to have an organic sound, because the voice cannot be so exact like a sinus sound could be. And that's what Raymond Rife did. He found exactly the frequency that would take a cancer, and he was wiped out of they put his friend into prison, and he had to escape because he could take the cancer. They were already a factory producing this machine. It was in the 30s, and then it was closed. Some of the medical doctors that continued doing to using his method, they were burned inside their laboratories. It was really bad things happening. So I know that it's not many people are daring to go into this field.
But if you do it on your own to yourself, nobody can come after you.
No, and it is, as long as it's spiritual, it is spiritual work, this. And another thing I wanted to know from you is if any of you, especially if you're in Denmark, would know how to use an ultrasound scanner. I would like to get in contact with you, because I'm wondering if the sound together with the ultrasound scanner will be a step forward, because I am not for that. Checking. I have to be with the faith and this. But we saw when we did this of Caroline, we saw that when we hit the right note, there was some kind of movement in the image.
Yeah.
And we thought maybe it's some disturbance but it could be that it's because we hit the right note, and it could also be used like that. Even we can hear it with overtones. So
I must say, I have seen so many amazing results of your work. So of course it could be that, as you said, there could be a combination there. But just to work with the sound, the vocal sound, is amazing.
You're right.
And not to forget that if you really want to get into it, it's all here.
Thank you very much, Lars.
Thank you very much.
Very inspiring to be.
I think it's great, and I'm so happy for you that this book.